Be here with you guys today. Man, Stephanie White. Rumor has it her arms are somewhere still crossed in the locker room. And if not the locker room, at the press conference, Stephanie White, right off the bat, I'm tired of looking at you with your arms crossed. I've had enough. We gave you time, and time is up. You look like you don't care. You look like you're not a leader. You look like you don't hold your team accountable. You look like somebody that will watch Kelsey Mitchell play like absolute trash the entire game, only for DeWanna Bonner to catch fire in the final 5 minutes. And then when you have another opportunity to prove yourself.
Indiana Fever suffered a devastating defeat against the previously winless Connecticut Sun, raising serious questions about head coach Stephanie White's leadership approach and tactical decisions throughout the contest. Throughout the game, White maintained what appeared to be a disengaged posture, frequently crossing her arms and displaying limited emotional investment in the proceedings. This detached demeanor contrasted sharply with expectations for a head coach facing critical moments in the season. In a late-game situation, you fold. Great job, Stephanie White. Can we get a round of applause for Stephanie White? Can we please get a round of applause for Stephanie White? We lost to the Connecticut Sun, folks. The 0-5 Connecticut Sun. Marina Mabrey and Tina Charles led the Sun, but I dare you to name 3 players on that team other than those 2. Go ahead. I'll wait. And there it is, Stephanie White facing her old team. You would think that this is your old team, and you would definitely want to make sure that your team is ready to play. But rumor has it, thanks to Lexi Hull, you don't even watch film after the Washington Mystics game. So we wonder why a lot of the terrible defense that we saw in the Mystics game is a lot of the terrible defense we saw tonight. Folks, don't let that last minute. Don't let those last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter fool you. This game was awful. This game was a hard watch. The visual presentation suggested a lack of urgency and accountability that extended beyond mere sideline presence. White's positioning, alternating between crossed arms, hands on hips, and chin-stroking gestures, conveyed an image inconsistent with active leadership during crucial game situations. Multiple tactical missteps plagued the Fever's performance against Connecticut. The defeat becomes particularly troubling considering the Sun entered the matchup with an 0-5 record, led primarily by Marina Mabrey and Tina Charles, while other roster members remained relatively anonymous. Aaliyah Boston started off hot, but got into foul trouble. Stephanie White left her in, and Boston got into even more fouls, limiting her availability for the rest of the second half. Sydney Carlson went down and stayed down. She wasn't seen on the bench for the rest of the game and was in the locker room. I hope Sydney is okay. Later in the game, Sophie Cunningham also went down. I hope she's okay too. But Stephanie White put on an absolute masterclass on how not to coach. White's connection to Connecticut as her former team should have provided strategic advantages, yet the preparation appeared inadequate. Reports suggest film study was neglected following the previous Washington Mystics contest, potentially explaining defensive lapses that carried over into this encounter. Aaliyah Boston began the game effectively, establishing interior presence and neutralizing Tina Charles in early possessions. However, foul trouble derailed her impact, and White's adjustments proved insufficient. Boston accumulated excessive fouls while remaining on the court, eventually limiting her minutes to just 26 despite her efficient 8 of 10 shooting. The coaching staff failed to implement protective schemes when foul concerns mounted, instead leaving Boston vulnerable. Stephanie White put on an absolute masterclass on how not to coach. Why am I seeing Aaliyah Boston get the ball 23 feet out, needing to dribble to get into the post? In the first quarter, Boston literally stuffed Tina Charles under the basket by clearing out space. Where is that now, Steph? What did you do with her? I want her back. Boston's early success stemmed from deep post positioning and smart decisions when defenses collapsed. However, this approach disappeared as the game progressed, replaced by perimeter catches requiring excessive dribbling to reach scoring spots. This shift highlighted systematic failures in play calling and player deployment. Boston's natural advantages were neutralized through poor positioning and an inadequate offensive structure. Michaela Onion's absence from meaningful playing time also raised questions about roster evaluation and development priorities. While other teams integrate rookie talent successfully, the Fever's approach appeared conservative to the point of neglecting available options. Sydney Carlson contributed positive moments before injury, and Sophie Cunningham also faced physical difficulties, further limiting personnel. What happened to first quarter Aaliyah Boston? She was getting the ball deep in the paint, making sound decisions, fighting for shots, and finding teammates when doubled. What happened, Stephanie? Despite a remarkable comeback effort erasing a 15-point deficit, critical late-game decisions undermined the Fever's chances. Trailing by 3 points with opportunities to tie, the team settled for 2-point attempts instead of pursuing threes. The fouling strategy backfired when Say Rivers converted only one free throw, providing minimal advantage. The final possession featured a design play for Kelsey Mitchell, whose struggles throughout the game made this choice questionable. Mitchell shot 4 of 15, including 0 of 4 from three-point range, with rush drives into traffic rather than passing opportunities. Michaela Timpson barely appeared. I'm not even upset about that, but seriously, what else are we going to do? You want to keep trying things? Assign me to a 15-day contract. I'll put on a wig and see what I can do for you. I really need to know what Stephanie White has shown us to make us feel confident in this team without Caitlin Clark carrying them. Seriously, folks, this was supposed to be a new day, a new dawn, a new head coach, a new era for Indiana Fever basketball. I would much rather have Christy Sides back. Goodness gracious, I said it. Natasha Howard managed 4 of 9 shooting for 9 points and 6 rebounds, though missed opportunities near the basket continued a concerning trend. Lexi Hull provided the most consistent contribution with 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting, representing one of the few bright spots. Daka Hamby delivered crucial fourth-quarter production, including a fortunate bank shot three-pointer and another conversion. Her efforts sparked a comeback attempt, but couldn't overcome earlier deficiencies. Connecticut's offensive success highlighted defensive breakdowns persisting from previous contests. Marina Mabry received excellent screening action and movement opportunities, exploiting gaps in the Fever's coverage. I would much rather see togetherness. Paint touches, paint touches, paint touches. Because at least when I watch Christy Sides, I watch somebody who gives the impression that they care, somebody who isn't happy when the team loses. There's a reason for the defensive slides, the arm waving from Christy Sides.